Guys, is there any news today? Anything crazy happened or what? I forgot there was something. Yeah.
Your olive oil may not be what it claims to be.
A couple years ago in southern Italy, the police were spying on an organized
Oh yeah, what was it? The Drake album. Chat, what should we do while we do that? And then we can discuss some stories as we can do with the future stream.
Their undercover footage shows these large tanker trucks passing into their compound. They started tracking these trucks with GPS and found that the trucks were loaded with oil. They were delivering this oil to markets and restaurants in Germany. They were selling it to buyers who thought that they were buying high-quality extra virgin olive oil from the best olive regions in the world.
Okay, so?
After many months of this investigation, the police finally busted into the compound, and what they found is that these criminals were importing cheap seed oil that cost them just over €1 per liter, but then they were coloring it with like chlorophyll to make it look like olive oil. They even had the machinery to bottle this oil and to label it with the important words extra virgin olive oil with a nice little Italian flag on it. At the height of their operation, they were selling around 23,000 liters per week to customers in the north for 5 to 10 times the cost that they bought this cheap seed oil for. The police estimated that they were bringing in around €8 million a year. In the end, 24 people were arrested and 150,000 liters of fake olive oil were seized.
Vendevano in Italia all'estero olio di semi di soia addizionato con clorofilla spacciandolo per olio extravergine di oliva. Per questo i carabinieri...
It's kind of crazy that the product can be so good, right? That people don't even... and they buy it. I mean,
hanno eseguito 24 cautelari, 17 delle quali a Cerignola in provincia di Foggia nell'ambito dell'operazione Oro Giallo.
Good olive oil is really hard to make. It's delicate, it's hard to ship across the world, but when you get the real stuff, extra virgin olive oil, it's really healthy and delicious.
I really fucking like it.
Mafia
Good one.
In southern Italy to mainstream olive oil brands on your grocery store shelf, olive oil is full of fraud and deception. In fact, there's a chance that you've never actually tasted extra virgin olive oil, even if you think you have. So let me show you how this happened and why it even matters. And how you can get in on the real stuff, real extra virgin olive oil.
Real shit.
I'm telling you, when you do...
if you're a big guy, if you're like a bread and butter guy like I was, okay, you should buy more baguette bread and do olive oil and balsamic vinegar mix. It's worth it, dude. I'm telling you, dude, it's worth it.
You taste this.
It'll change your life.
It's unlike any substance.
It'll change your life. No, seriously.
I've been working out lately. Like, I can do 10 pull-ups, which is made here. Most olive oil in the world is made here, in these sunny climates of the Mediterranean. Thousands of years ago, people here figured out that juicing the fruit of this ancient tree produces a golden oil that is like magic. They adored this tree. Its branches were worn by the goddess of peace, or a victorious Olympian. It was an olive branch that told Noah that the flood was over. Over the centuries, it became a sacred tree with a sacred fruit that produced a sacred liquid. It was food, it was medicine, it was fuel, it was a cosmetic, it was a key part of religious rituals for people of the Mediterranean for thousands of years.
Okay.
The rest of the world didn't know much about this special oil until the 1960s, when an American doctor was conducting a health study of over 13,000 middle-aged men from 7 countries. He found that the people of Italy and Greece lived longer and were generally healthier despite being ravaged by war and poverty. He concluded that it must be because of what they ate. Fish, nuts.
I heard in a documentary a long time ago, I don't know what, but at least certain part of Italy, people were just more chill. People like took the time to do stuff. They're just gonna overall they have less stress, and stress of course leads to fucking a bunch of bullshit. They just were healthier and lived longer because they were chilling out.
Nuts, vegetables, and of course, copious amounts of olive oil instead of butter. Soon word spread to the rest of the world that this Mediterranean diet was the way to live longer and that olive oil was a key ingredient. It's the 70s and 80s and everyone is talking about olive oil.
Major health headline here tonight, and it involves a very popular diet, the Mediterranean diet, full of olive oil.
Olive oil.
Olive oil.
Extra virgin olive oil.
What is the best olive oil? A little olive oil, if you like, use lots.
Between 1958 and 2019,
Yeah, a
global
little bit of-
production
a little bit of olive oil.
tripled. Demand in the United States exploded. Olive oil is no longer a regional thing.
Well, a lot of
By
it's
the
fake now anyway.
1990s, this has become a huge international supply chain, serving customers around the world who are willing to pay a lot more for this extra virgin olive oil. The stuff that scientists were saying was an elixir of health and longevity.
You can combine what is beneficial for health to what is really tasty. And people, of course, they are quick to grasp the importance of combining good food with good health.
Suddenly, these small olive oil operations in rural parts of southern Italy have international customers clamoring to get in on their product. So they start
they put in
selling
coffee?
their oil to middlemen who can take it and sell it to a co-op. The co-op gets all the oil together and then sells it to another co-op who eventually sells it to a company who bottles it and then ships it to a faraway country to be put on grocery store shelves. This complex supply chain with all these middlemen comes with a lot of opportunities for people to take advantage of this newfound love for this magical, expensive oil. But to understand olive oil fraud, you first really have to understand the magic of extra virgin olive oil.
I'll ask Pokey about my Instagram, but I already have contacts. I already did them. Just leave
Every
them.
winter at farms around the Mediterranean, farmers head to their groves to comb through the branches.
Chat, I feel like everything cool in Italy and France is just getting ripped off by a bunch of people. Guys, the cheese, the ham, some of the meats, some of the wine, some of the olive oil, a lot of good shit from a lot of places that is very particular to these places is getting scammed the fuck out. It's a massive deal.
Branches of these ancient trees at just the right time, so that this delicate fruit is perfectly ripe as it falls to the ground, carpeting the grove floor. The clock immediately starts ticking. Within 24 hours, they must get this precious fruit to the mill, where the olives are crushed and then spun in a centrifuge until the oil is separated. No heat, no filters,
That's
no
it?
chemicals, nothing. Just high-quality olives, quickly pressed one time and spun, then bottled. Then, crucially, kept dark, kept cool, sealed, and ideally consumed within 18 months. It's a delicate, resource-intensive process to pull this off, and even more so when you then have to ship it across the globe. But it's really the only way to get this magical liquid that we call extra virgin olive
So
oil.
why does a lot of olive oil from a lot of restaurants? It tastes not as fragrant, not as whatever. It kind of tastes like almost like nothing, almost like a little bit like a chemical bitter. That's fake, right?
Oil. The stuff that's good for your heart,
That's the fake one.
for your brain, for your bones. The stuff that tastes like fatty, grassy gold.
Oh, they keep it longer and
This
shit.
stuff is so good. And this is where I tell you that most olive oil is kind of a lie. Sometimes a white lie, and other times a mafia is deceiving you kind of lie. So first things first, Italian olive oil is important here. If you look at this price graph of Italian olive oil, you'll see that it's quite a bit more expensive than the olive oil coming from the other big players in this space, Spain and Greece. Italian olive oil is more expensive not only because it is known for genuine quality, but also because it's Italy. Italy is Italy. It looks like this. Its food looks like this. Italy has the perception of being the gourmet food epicenter of the world. So people, including me, are willing to pay more for Italian extra virgin olive oil.
You know what, Chad?
Because it's good and it's from Italy.
You know
On
what?
that point, let me show you two kind of insane
True.
maps. First, look where most
Chat,
olive oil
if your bottle of whatever you're buying has like a little Italian flag, I trust it more. I just
is
said
made in Italy.
Yeah, I'm
The
done. Maybe I don't
darker
know.
areas down here. And second, let's look at the regions of Italy where the mafia is most present. Right down here next to this toe and the heel of the boot. The regions with the highest production of olive oil are the regions where the mafia is. And this is where it all comes together. There's this ancient trading city right on the toe of the boot. The Calabrian Mafia, one of Italy's most influential clans, controls this busy port in this city.
Oh man.
They also control or influence much of the farmland in this area, including olive groves. In 2016, this Mafia clan was shipping in cheap, low-grade, chemically treated olive oil called pumice. They would then bottle this up and label it as extra virgin olive oil from Italy, even though it was like a derivative of olive oil, chemically treated and not from Italy. But then they would ship this olive oil to importers in New York City, in Boston, in Chicago, importers who thought they were buying the best olive oil in the world from the best region in the world. But really, they were paying for cheap oil and giving huge profit margins to the Mafia committing this fraud. The Italian food police, which is like literally a thing, eventually busted this scheme.
The arrest of one of the most powerful street gangs in Calabria.
Olive oil is hard to detect as fake.
Guys, this only makes me mad because I feel like it's kind of a double scam. Not only are they yoinking and controlling the thing, but they're also selling fake shit. That seems kind of, come on, man.
It kind of all looks the same. You have to have a trained eye to know if like the color is off.
They're double dipping.
People aren't drinking olive oil. They're cooking with it or putting it on their salad, and they're kind of just assuming that it's legitimate and that it's giving them health benefits. And a lot of people don't really know what good olive oil tastes like. So olive oil fraud is particularly easy and particularly lucrative because of the premium price that good extra virgin olive oil commands. Because of this, Italy has an entire investigative unit dedicated to food fraud. And they're regularly busting these fraud schemes. Some of them are less extreme than the ones we've talked about. A really common one is people will ship in olive oil from Spain. They will bottle it in Italy, and then they will put a label that says that it's Italian olive oil, and they will sell it at a higher premium because Italian olive oil commands a higher price.
Oh, man.
But oftentimes it's even more subtle than that.
Oh,
Olive oil
motherfucker.
companies will mix extra virgin olive oil with old or decaying oil, or they'll use olives that have been sitting on the floor of the grove for like a couple of weeks, and they're like, no, we'll just like press them anyway and call it extra virgin olive oil. And it's not. It's a different thing. Again, this is a really complex supply chain with lots of opportunities for people to step in and change it from this delicate liquid called extra virgin olive oil to something else. And it's really hard to detect. A lot of this olive oil ends up on your supermarket shelf with a photo of a humble Italian farmer in an idyllic landscape with words like cold pressed or premium selection with pretend
I'm gonna make it
stamps
my
of
own field
approval
then.
that don't mean anything. I mean, listen, these could all be legit extra virgin olive oils, but I don't know, because here in the US, we actually have no enforcement standards. Luckily, scientists have tested this. One of the first big tests on this was from researchers at UC Davis, a college in California. They went out and bought a bunch of olive oil from stores in California. They tested them to see if they met the standards for extra virgin olive oil, and they found that 69% of imported olive oil that was claiming to be extra virgin failed to meet the internationally recognized sensory standards, where an expert tastes it and can tell if it's actually extra virgin or not. And of those, 31% failed to meet the chemical standards, meaning they were too acidic. A lot of this stuff is not extra virgin olive oil. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get an email from people in the olive oil industry saying that this study isn't actually legit because it was only a sample size of olive oil in stores in California. But this was actually just one of several studies over the years that have shown the same thing. Most of the olive oil on our shelves, claiming to be that amazing golden liquid that is delicately produced and stored and contains the fullness of the taste and the health benefits of olives, aka extra virgin olive oil, most of these labels are lying. Now, most of the oil in these bottles,
I love being an oil slurper. I wouldn't mind that.
Like, there's not a lot of that fraud where they're like taking seed oil and pretending that it's olive oil. That's been clamped down on. It still happens, but not very often. But again, it being made from olives is not what makes extra virgin olive oil special. It is the way that it's made. It's the way that it's processed. It's how quickly they take the fruit from the grove and they press it and bottle it and store it and ship it. This oil is not that. It is not extra virgin anymore. And yet they slap a label so that you and I feel like we're getting the best stuff. And we're getting it for a good price. You would be in big trouble if you got caught labeling it as such in Italy and a lot of European countries. But wait, why haven't these companies who are doing
America
it in
doesn't
the
give a
United
fuck. You
States
think they give a fuck?
Because in America, we don't care. Whereas in Italy, they literally have laws that...
Aiden says, you're down so much money? No, you're not. Yo, Aiden, if you're down so much money, dude, take your fucking payments, motherfucker. Okay, split it in half keep half and gamble the fucking rest of it, you fucking cucklord. What is wrong with you, dude? That's because you keep fucking going all in, you fucking cuck.
That are violated when you label something as extra virgin olive oil and it's not. Here in the US, we have no laws for this. Companies don't have to test their olive oil to prove that it's extra virgin. They can just import them and slap on extra virgin to the label,
you know what?
No one can do anything about it.
True, but in America we have the freedom. You know what the freedom means? Freedom to be smart and research your fucking shit, okay? And find stuff that you believe in, that you like, and actually buy the correct product, because you have the freedom to actually buy whatever you want. And for them, to sell most whatever they want. Therefore, be smarter about your fucking purchasing decisions. Stop being such a fucking bitch ass.
Between this and the fact
blame
that
the consumer.
Most Americans probably don't know what extra virgin olive oil even tastes like, so they don't know what to expect. The US has become what one expert calls the dumping grounds for olive oil that says it's extra virgin and it's not. So, is there any hope here?
Go to bed.
Can you ever try the real stuff, extra virgin olive oil that is like magical golden liquid? Yes, you can. It exists. You just need to know what to look for. We put together a list of tips on how you can find legitimate extra virgin olive oil and know that you're getting the good stuff. I'm gonna put the link in the description. It's everything from the material that the bottle is made out of to the nuances in the packaging and labeling.
Because this shit take, because I wasn't being serious about it.
The quality seals. We also give you some ideas on some of the trickery that companies try to fake it, to try to make it look legit, but it's actually
Oh yeah, I used to buy this one actually. I used to buy this one right here.
So that link is in the description if you want to try extra virgin olive oil and get your hands on it and are willing to pay for it, because spoiler alert, it is more expensive than the fake stuff that's pretending to be real.
Yeah.
Then you can go check out that doc.
Chat, usually chat, I buy the more expensive, like little, like the slimmer bottles, the one that are like slimmer. I feel like a lot of times it's kind of like, okay, well it probably has.
The point is that it is possible. And I guess if you're still here watching this video, you're wondering, why is this so important?
It's probably more
Like,
real if they sell less of it for the same price or more.
Fraud. And there are a couple answers. Number one is that this is a really amazing old tradition. It's a tradition that fueled the civilizations in the Mediterranean for thousands of years. The harvesting and pressing and bottling.
I don't care about the rest of this. That was fun though. I enjoyed it though. Guys, I enjoy this.
And consumption of olive oil, good olive oil, is an old, delicate tradition. And when you mix capitalism with that, you often...
It's a video. Okay, chat, guys, I'm so annoying. It was the end of the video. It was over.